What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Thomas Dolby. And we're back with what I think, question mark, is the final bonus tune included in the expanded folder for his 1982 album Golden Age of Wireless. Once again, shout out to Han Solo, or I think it's The Golden Age of Wireless. And the tune is called Leipzig. It's a city in Germany. I believe it's in modern-day Saxony, which is to say, I think Old Saxony is like northwest Germany, whereas modern Saxony is like northeast Germany. Either way, it's a notable city with a long history. As a football fan, it makes me think of RB Leipzig, but I don't know what Thomas Dolby will have to say about it in 1982, so perhaps it's just the backdrop for a narrative that is more specific and idiosyncratic. Perhaps it's a scene or a tone poem to the city itself. Let's find out. This is Thomas Dolby. The track is Leipzig, and it's a bonus track included in an expanded folder for his 1982 album, The Golden Age of Wireless. Sounds familiar? Maybe. Did the Jetsons just fly overhead? There's a bit of like Gary Newman to this.
Soon you're eyeing the overseas page.
Maybe with a bit more melodic of a vocal.
The trains are running late as you close the garden gate. Stepping through your steel front door frame. Dinner's in the microwave, sweetie. Leipzig is calling you, Henry.
That feels familiar, but nothing else.
Another misty busky morning. Faces smile down from a hoarding. Stoop to the bin. Drop something in. Well, you'll soon feel yourself again. Every place is just the same, isn't it? Leipzig is calling you, Betty. The mouth of the megaphone. Leipzig is calling you, Jane. Leipzig is calling you, Leonard. Another cartoon character.
Such interesting sonics, like the organ. It's like string synths, that like high tension string.
The sound of taxi rides. The sound of a dentist drill.
Like distorted feedback.
Every place is just the same, isn't it? Leipzig is calling you, Betty. The mouth of the megaphone. Leipzig is calling you, Jane. Leipzig is calling you, Leonard. Another cartoon characters. Leipzig is calling you, Leonard.
I realize it's still a very limited sample size, but this guy's music is insane. Like, It's often full of a lot of lyrics, many of which, are poetic yet cryptic. And, Leipzig's calling these different names, but then every place is basically like any other. But is that within Leipzig, or is it saying that, like, we're talking about Leipzig as the template, but this could be anywhere? Like, I'm not sure what's happening in that regard. Like walking inside the door, the dinner's in the microwave, honey, or whatever it was. Yeah, like I'm really not sure what's happening here lyrically. I'm fascinated by it, and I caught bits and pieces enough to be really curious about how this ties together, but couldn't really make sense of it. And then sonically, I was trying to like document them, because what happens sometimes is, I'm doing these reactions. I don't want to step on too much of the song. And then I get to the end, and I think of maybe 2 of the 7 things that came to my head while doing the reaction. And then when I finish the reaction, I re-listen to the tune, which I mentioned, I re-listen to pretty much every tune I react to, with the exception of maybe some like techno tracks where like, I've already used it in DJ mixes. I know what it sounds like in headphones. But when I listen to a tune for the first time, I listen to it in headphones after the reaction, and sometimes it's like, oh, I forgot to comment on that, and oh, I forgot to get back to the lyrics in that one regard. So surely that will happen here too, but part of the reason that I do comment in the moment is because I want to make sure I at least just get a quick phrase out there, so that if I forget later, it's like, oh, well, he did mention that, and I can perhaps talk about it more in the comments. But yeah, there were some really interesting sonic layers, that like intense, like dissonant, like electric feedback, like rhythm bit, the like long, like organ chords, the high like tension string synth, and then like a lower string synth line that was sort of the like main melodic lead in parts. His vocal delivery was interesting, and again, it just seems like he is trying to be creative and original in ways that few other artists are. And I mentioned, like, there's a moment at the beginning where it was giving me Gary Newman, like Two-Way Army vibes. I get that same feeling with Newman, and this was maybe the closest I've heard Dolby sounding to Newman or the Two-Way Army, although again, it was mainly just at the beginning, and once the tune got a bit more elaborate, and because his vocal delivery is a bit more melodic and expressive, whereas I think Newman deliberately, at least in the songs and albums that I've heard, it goes for a sort of, like an android type of, not necessarily monotone, but close to it type of delivery. So, yeah, like I said, it does seem that people mention some of these, late 70s, early 80s synth projects, they had a lot of cross-pollination where people were influenced by each other. John Fox and Newman, I know people would mention specifically. But yeah, it does seem like Dolby is on that same level of creativity. So looking forward to more. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.